Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about the Senate and NATO and how the United States Senate has a desire to alter some of the terms that involve our relationship with NATO. The Senate pushed through an amendment to the NDAA, and that amendment would basically mean that a future president who perhaps does not understand foreign policy, even though they think they do, couldn't just unilaterally withdraw from NATO. Instead, they would have to get approval from the Senate or an act of Congress, 2/3 of the Senate, or an act of Congress. This amendment went through in the Senate by a vote of 65 to 28. Okay, so why? Yeah, it's Trump. It's Trump. The Senate is trying to safeguard against a Trump or Trump-like person in the future who views international affairs as transactional and does not understand how intertwined NATO has become with U.S. national security. So they're providing a check on executive authority. That's their job. One of the questions that came in about this is this constitutional? Doesn't the president have authority to make treaties? Yeah, with advice and consent of the Senate. It's in the Constitution. Article 2, Section 2. Wow. I don't remember the clause. Sorry. Article 2, Section 2 goes over it. So what they are doing is just setting up a method to make sure that a withdrawal from a serious treaty also has the advice and consent of the Senate. It's constitutional. There's nothing unconstitutional about this. It is interesting to see it pass by the margin it did. It is clear that there are people within the Republican Party who understand exactly how grave a danger Trump or those like him are. Otherwise, they wouldn't have voted for this. NATO, over the years, has kind of morphed. It is well beyond just a simple defense alliance. It is also a defense production alliance. It's an economic alliance of sorts. There's a lot to it. The stability of NATO is the stability of Europe. It is, in many ways, it's world stability. As weird as that is, because of how NATO adventurism has harmed world stability, it could be even worse. I know that's hard to imagine. A sudden withdrawal from NATO by the United States, it would have very far-reaching consequences. It's the type of thing that could start wars. This is the Senate, in a pretty bipartisan effort, trying to ensure that the United States is not responsible for jeopardizing global security and the established order. So that's what's going on. Now, I know there are a whole bunch of people watching this channel that are going to be like, we don't need to be in NATO. That is an argument you are free to have. The one thing that cannot be stressed enough is that even if you don't agree with NATO, a sudden withdrawal would harm everybody you want to protect. if you want to make the case to withdraw from NATO. That I understand where it's coming from. I don't necessarily think now's the time, but I get the argument. But it's not something that can be done immediately. The other thing the amendment does is preemptively prohibit funding for a unilateral withdrawal if some authoritarian president just decides to do it on their own and not seek the advice and consent of the Senate. So that's what's going on. Yes, it has to do with Trump. No, I don't think they're enacting this because they think he's going to win. I think it's more of he displayed a vulnerability in the system, and they're trying to shore it up. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.